Okay, Liz, so you need a stronger equipment list here, as I think I probably said last week. I'd like to see more of your gear on this list. It would just improve that enormously. This is not what we're after here in terms of a lighting setup. So this is what we want. A key light on either side of the camera pointed straight into the scene, not angled towards the person. And then a kicker light over here. It can either be a box or a bare bulb. I think that's up to you to determine. And then you want to make sure that your exposures are accurate here for ambient light. And then you would raise this kicker light maybe a half to a stop to 1.5 to 2 stops more. You don't want to blow out the side of their face there with the light, but you do want to make it look like sunlight. You'll notice how this person's face slightly away from the kicker, so you don't want to face them into the kicker light. Well, I'm not seeing a 360-degree view of the entire space. I'm not sure what vertical images do for us, but I would be photographing the entire space, 360-degree view. Here's a way that you should be turning this in. Small thumbnails, all angles, 360-degree view, 4 to 6. 4 is adequate usually. This was for another assignment that required more setup, but you should give us a 360-degree view. So you've got most promising angle here. It looks like to me that this space is way too small in this particular promising angle. You really don't want that person right up against the wall. I'm not sure what your plan here is. You've got your challenge photographs here, but it would really be nice if you told us why they're challenging. This space really doesn't look very big. So if you're trying to shoot it in this small of a space, you're going to have a lot of problems, I can tell you right now. So I would really think about that. You want to make sure that you have an adequate space to fulfill the parameters of the assignment. Well, if one light is 1 foot away, is what you're saying here, boy, that's going to be really a tough one. And to have the key lights 3 feet away, that's going to be tough too. You really need to think about this in your space. It just sounds like you're setting yourself up for some disappointment. Okay, so this is not correctly articulated here. You should have descriptive notes, but it should be broken down into categories. You've got all this information here, but it's not formatted correctly. Okay, so it looks like you're delivering some of the information here, but unfortunately it's just buried in there. So I would suggest you do it like this. This is for another assignment, but you can see how this should be. Descriptive notes and then site investigation right there. Talk about the site. Pre-visualization. Talk about how you see the image in your mind's eye. Creative concepts. What's this shot about? Why is it, what's the narrative? How are you going to fulfill the narrative? Then backgrounds. You're going to talk about the backgrounds there. What are you going to use for backgrounds? But it's all labeled. Labeled additional notes. You're going to talk about lenses, f-stops, things like that. Challenge and enablers. Challenge and enablers right there. Then you label enablers right there. You talk about those. Challenges, talk about those. So I think it would be beneficial to talk about the actual size of the room here. I'm really concerned that when you're saying that one light's going to be 1 foot away and the other are going to be 3 feet away, that doesn't sound like a very big space to me. And if that's the case, you're going to have some major issues trying to balance that light out and make it look like there is a window in that room. Everything's just too close together, and that's almost a very difficult thing to do. Realize that the room could have windows, and you could either knock the light out of the windows with muslin or something like that, or else you could shoot it at night. So that's the other option there. The only reason we say no windows is because we want a room that will not have a window in it so that you can emulate window light. But that room, if it was shot at night, and had a window, it would be of no consequence. Okay, so you've got that information. Great. So you've got some information in here. The pictures aren't adequate. Lighting diagrams off. I just noticed that you've got 28 minutes in the course materials. There's no way that you can acquire the necessary information in 28 minutes unless you're a fast reader. So I would suggest strongly that you put yourself into a situation where you can spend more time with course materials. This is not an easy shoot, and so you're going to have to spend some time with it. Right off the bat, it just seems like your space is way too small, and spaces are really critical here in order to be successful. So you might want to reconsider what you're doing in terms of the size of the space. Yeah, so I gave you some feedback here, and I would continue to look at the course materials so that you can be successful.